All right, it looks like some people are still trickling in, but we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're joining us from today, and welcome to our Mainframe Continuous Delivery webcast. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Len Thompson, and I am Broadcom's Mainframe Division Community Manager. And again, I'd like to welcome you to today's webcast. Before I hand you off to Nicole Fagan from the product management team, just want to let you know that we are recording today's session, which is why you are all currently muted. If you have questions along the way, please use the questions box right along the right side of your screen, and I will read those out to Nicole when the time comes. We'll get through as many of them as we can today. And if we have time at the end, I will also let you know how you can have your line unmuted if you prefer to ask your questions that way. One quick last thing from me is that we are always trying to make sure these webcast sessions are valuable for you. With that in mind, I have a quick survey that will appear at the end of the webcast. I'd really appreciate you taking a couple minutes. It's only 4 or 5 questions, I think, to give us some feedback so we can make sure that our sessions are even better in the future. And with that out of the way, I'm going to hand you off to Nicole Fagan. Take it away, Nicole.
Thank you, Len. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our session today. As Len said, I'm Nicole Fagan. I'm the Director of Product Management and Strategy. I lead IT operations, databases, and automation. So I am very pleased with our teams. We have come together to enable all of you, all of our customers, with continuous delivery. And so that is our topic for today. What does that mean for you? What's in it for you at the end of our conversation? Quite simply, from our perspective, our entire goal is to make consuming our software easier for you. And so that's what we aim to deliver with continuous delivery. Okay. Our disclaimer, we'll pause, everybody can read it, but big picture, we will use statements such as we expect, we believe, we anticipate, some forward-thinking strategic items that we will be working on, again, to enable continuous delivery as we move forward. Please don't take the statements as firm commitments, but it is our every intention to be able to execute successfully. Our agenda, we're going to share just a little bit of a reflection on Broadcom, VA's history relative to delivering. We're going to talk you through what we heard from customers such as yourselves. Many of you may have participated in those conversations around barriers with acquiring or deploying software. And then we're going to walk you through what continuous delivery really is. What have we actually changed at the end of the day? We'll talk about how new features will be enabled in the continuous delivery model. I'm going to get real clear with you on which products have already transitioned, and we're going to let you know how you can learn about which products transition as they transition. And of course, timeliness, since we're all together, a refresher, if you will, on best practices for maintenance within the continuous delivery model. And lastly, we'll wrap it up with, again, what is it that we're aiming to enable all of you with? As Len said, questions are welcome throughout in the chat. Len, you are welcome to interrupt me. Also on today, we have Don Demore and Stefan Kokoshen. Both of those team members are very versed in continuous delivery, and they may like to answer your questions through the chat as we proceed. Okay. So again, just a reflection here. CA has been delivering value for decades upon decades, certainly predates my existence. And we were very pleased in 2010 that CA came out with CA recommended service. So we started issuing quarterly bundles, wrapping up all the maintenance. And inside of there, on occasion, there were features within. And of course, the whole data reflected that. So we've clearly been in a continuous delivery mode, if you will, since 2010. We took it a step further and made monthly cards in 2013. And then we all know what happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. Agile overtook everything, and everybody wanted to become the best Agile organization on the planet. And as CA was transitioning to Agile, we introduced the incremental release program. That was about 2013, right about the time when I joined CA. And with the incremental release, the whole goal was for our teams to be able to ship the features when they completed. so that customers could consume them right straight away. You didn't have to wait for that big R waterfall release to become available to you. Again, it was just constantly enabling you to take advantage of the new features as soon as our development teams had completed them. With the incremental release program, we're very pleased with the success that we saw there. We had 45 products move into the incremental release program, and we released 89 incremental releases over that time. So just a recent couple examples, CA Ops NDS, Event Management and Automation, on release 13.5, already released 15 feature PTFs in that incremental release model. And CA SysView Performance Management, 15, which was the prior release, because we'll talk about 16 in just a moment, they had released 10 feature PTFs in 18 months. And of course, those feature PTFs contained more than one feature, so there was lots of good value and solid opportunities for customers to improve their environments and take advantage of the new capabilities therein. But what does it really mean for our entire organization? What are we really doing for all of you? Well, we stepped back and we took a bigger view of things. How many features has Broadcom actually provided to all of you since January of 2018? So we took a look at January 2018 until May of 2019, and we released 1,423 features across the mainframe division. We're super proud of our teams for being able to deliver. So again, our history is rich and filled with wanting to deliver value to you, and our entire mission here with continuous delivery is to make it all the easier for you to take advantage of what we deliver in the most timely fashion, in a way, again, that's the best fit for you at the time frame that makes the most sense for you. We are always working with our customers. Always, always, always. It is our favorite thing to do. Whether it's on a support case or whether it's on where you're moving your business to and we're innovating something novel and out of the box, our favorite thing to do is to work with each of you. Specific to how you consume our software, we have held design thinking sessions and interviews engaging over 100 customers. You'll see that 100 mark pretty often with us here at Broadcom. We want to make sure that we're having a consensus of our customers. Now 100 is a small percentage of our customers, but we feel by the time we get to 100, we're starting to really hear the same things over and over. So we feel like we've done a really solid job when we're able to engage 100 or more customers on a particular topic. And the topic that our architects truly have been leading for over a year now is how do we make it easier for customers to consume our software. And that started with a lot of conversations around how are they doing with the incremental releases. And what it all boils down to, after doing those design thinking sessions and interviews, was 5 things we're getting in our customers' way relative to incremental releases. First of all, at one point, there was an extra NDA on CA support before customers could even download an incremental release. It was subsequently removed because our kind lawyers told us we didn't need to have it because it was all covered under the standard T's and C's of all of your contracts. So that was great. But there was still, and remains, an additional EULA there. And some people just don't want to bypass that. And going through their own legal systems becomes just a large barrier and a hurdle that they're not willing to undertake. So that was a blocker right from the start. At one point, there was a support requirement to be on the most current increment. And that was too much of a challenge for many of the customers that we interviewed, in that there's only so many maintenance windows. You have to vet it for so long. You have to be able to be supported in your production environment. It was inconsistently executed across TA. There were some people who were like, well, I like this part about it. And some teams said, I would modify this part. There's a little bit of fraction going across the team. And when customers are consuming multiple products from us, that inconsistency becomes a lot to manage. A subset of customers, it was not all customers, but a subset of customers did say that fixes and new features being delivered together was a hurdle for them. They needed to be able to expedite the hyper situation that we're all aware of, if there's a hyper, wanting to be able to expedite an individual fix being rolled out across their environment. So the teams where that everything was bundled together, or when you applied a full increment and everything came together, that was, again, a barrier for rapidly deploying the hyperfix. And the last one, again, a subset of customers. It was not all customers. We actually had two very opposing camps here, and it would be fascinating to see them debate. But nonetheless, a subset of customers said having new features delivered in Able did not work for them. They wanted control, very firm controls in their hands, so that they could activate new features when they were delivered. So pick your favorite type of switch, and that's what they were looking for. So again, after working with so many customers, again, likely many of you, this is what it boiled down to, is the barriers for the incremental release program. So ready, set? We are all ready to move to continuous delivery, and I bet you can all guess exactly what barriers we aim to break down. The first one is actually the name. Incremental release, we aim to deliver increments of value. Yes, we could explain it, but why not just move to the industry standard name? Everybody is familiar with continuous delivery. It's what we all talk about. It's actually what we're doing. So we are changing the name to continuous delivery. That hurdle about being on the latest increment, it's gone. Customers are fully supported across the entire continuous delivery release. Your standard terms and conditions of your support contract, the ability to engage our award-winning support team, it is available to you across the entire continuous delivery release. We will provide individual fixes for the SMTE installed products. Anybody with a mainframe background knows that that is a value proposition for the mainframe, and we will resume it across all of our products who are running in continuous delivery, and as our products transition to continuous delivery. So again, individual fixes for problems will be made available. And we'll be aiming to establish that consistency as products transition into continuous delivery, and thus eliminating the problems that we had with incremental release, the concerns that you all had expressed. A little bit more relative to new features. How will new features be delivered? So our enhancements, brand new capabilities, they will be delivered disabled where logical. And I'm sure everybody's going, what does where logical mean? Let's talk about a couple of examples. If we do a performance enhancement or for a particular code test or a particular function, we do not want to deliver that performance enhancement disabled. We want it to be enabled. We want everybody, as soon as they apply, to be able to receive the benefit. Another example, we've spent a ton of effort and time modernizing the platform. We have a lot of UIs, modern UIs, web UIs, that interface with the mainframe, making it easier for that next generation of mainframers to onboard. The UIs themselves, it doesn't really make sense to have something disabled or have a button appear or not appear. So those buttons will appear, and the changes in the UIs will simply appear. That's what where logical means. Our teams are empowered to make the best possible decisions after connecting with customers. So when new features are delivered disabled, you'll have to take it means they're disabled, right? It's not automatically going to run. The code test isn't just going to happen. You actually have to do something in order to activate or take advantage of the new feature. So by explicit action, again, a couple of examples. Maybe is that you have to add a ParmLive setting. You have to actually update and activate a ParmLive setting. Maybe it's that you have to add an additional keyword onto an existing display command. Maybe it's a brand new display. Maybe it's a report and it has a new option you actually have to code into your JCL in order to take advantage of something. Or maybe it is that new button on the UI that you actually have to push in order to get the feature to trigger. So again, new features, we'll deliver them disabled wherever it's logical to do so, and through the whole data, through the normal means, we're going to let you know how you take advantage and leverage the value that we've just delivered. At the end of the day, our team taking on the effort to deliver new features disabled gives you the greater control, the more granular control to activate the features and then to deploy the features as you see fit across your enterprise. When are products transitioning to continuous delivery, and how will you know? When this announcement went out on June 20th, 14 of our products went to continuous delivery on that day. And they were on the initial website, which was contained in the notice that you all received. As additional products transition, they will, within their proactive notifications, they will go ahead and tell you that they're moving to continuous delivery. So you will see it in their proactive notifications. I mentioned SysView 15.0 and all of the excellence they delivered on incremental release 15. SysView 16.0 was just announced by the team, and it is a continuous delivery release. So they're able to make the switch over on a release boundary. Other products have opted in somewhere on an existing release, such as everything in our DB2 tools space. They have opted in on their existing release R20. As they deliver going forward, they'll have the individual fixes for everybody to be able to consume. And new features will be delivered disabled wherever it's logical to do so. In just a moment, I'm going to show you the list, right? The list of the 14 products which are running in continuous delivery. Before I show you that list, perhaps some of you are wondering, well, in my area, because there are definitely business sectors that are not allowed to run on things until they've been out and available for a full year. We understand that. So if you're not up for grabbing the latest enhancements, it's against your business policies, you have to wait that 1 year time frame, and you really want to be in a maintenance only type of environment, then you're encouraged to run on the GA-1 release. Because on the GA-1 release, we are not shipping new features and capabilities. Yes, we'll do compatibility and toleration for new releases of ZOS, new hardware. We'll certainly provide all the maintenance that's needed on the GA-1 release, but not the new features. So again, if you're in that environment where you're just not allowed to, and I know that you really want to be allowed to, but you're just not allowed to take advantage of those new enhancements, please do run on the GA-1 release. Okay, so here it is. Again, the announcement was pushed to all of you on the 20th of June, and this is the initial set of products that moved right into continuous delivery on the first day. So the existing releases, all of them are existing releases with the one exception of SysView, as I've already mentioned, and so those products have cut over on that release. The link to where this full list is being maintained is shown here. You're encouraged to check it periodically, but as I said, those proactive notifications going forward will let you know when other products transition to continuous delivery. While I'm on proactive notifications, as everybody knows, we were acquired not too long ago. We've been transitioning our IT systems. I'd like to encourage each of you to pop out to our support site and check on your proactive notification system subscriptions. Make sure that you are receiving the notifications for everything that you need. So new deliverables, hyperfixes, all the products that you want. My experience, people set them at one point in time when they first ever logged on to the support center and maybe haven't looked at them in a while. So I'd like to, again, encourage each of you to take a look and ensure that you're subscribed to all the solutions and all the notices that you need in order to be effective and make the most of your solutions from Broadcom. Okay. Now, again, since we're all together, we thought it was a very timely opportunity to share with you a reminder about maintenance, and maintenance specifically with continuous delivery. The great news here is that it's not changing. So your maintenance best practices remain as they were before. Now that said, I have a feeling that a lot of people aren't leveraging the best practices. So we thought we would take a moment to do a refresher on best practices. Okay? We've already covered that the SMPE installed products will have individual fixes. We are absolutely going to continue with CA recommended service, so you can count on us to continue to roll up all the fixes therein. Specific to maintenance best practices, and Dawn really is our subject matter expert here. We made the investment in receive order. Please consider leveraging receive order. It'll make your days much easier. It'll make everything move much smoother for you. We encourage all customers to review high scores on a regular basis. Again, that brings us back to subscribing and each of you taking an action item to verify that your subscriptions are as you expect. And then, again, CARS deployment. So regular application of maintenance. I'm not telling you have to apply CARS every single month, even though we provide the opportunity every single month. But get on a cadence where you're deploying the CA recommended service once, twice, 4 times a year, 6 times a year, whatever fits in your schedule, whatever makes the most sense for your shop. And then on the far right, just a note about our non-SMPE installed products like Dynamic Capacity Intelligence or Mainframe Operational Intelligence. They tend to run on a dead Linux or an x86. They will have maintenance and features and they'll leverage their existing strategies. Again, those are the non-SMPE installed products. All right. So what have we done with continuous delivery? Again, as I said at the very top, our whole goal is to make our software easier for each of you to consume, adopt, deploy, maximize the value in the investment that you've made in our software. Continuous delivery releases are supported across the entire release. Again, you can reach our support teams. They will be more than happy to help you if you need anything. The extra NDA or EULA have been removed. Everything that you see for continuous delivery is absolutely covered in your existing terms and conditions. Leveraging the best practices makes it a lot easier for you going forward. And as we said a number of times, the SMPE installed products, we're resuming the individual fixes being provided, and those new features will be delivered disabled where it makes sense to do so. Industry standard name, it matches what everybody knows, we're all familiar with, and it simply is how we're delivering. And lastly, we're here to set the expectations on how Broadcom Mainframe division will be delivering software to you in the future. Just 2 more things. So questions are absolutely welcome. Chat, and I'll go to Len in just a moment. But while I have your attention, I did want to take a moment to invite each of you to come and meet with us. We have Mainframe technical exchanges. Essentially, they're open houses, full access to all of our developers, many of our support team members, the product management teams, the cross-functional teams. Everybody is available to you at the Mainframe technical exchanges. We have held one already in Pittsburgh, one in Prague, and one in Sao Paulo. They do book to capacity. One was slightly over capacity, but we're going to try to hold the capacity at the subsequent event. So please do consider coming to meet with us. We would love to talk to you more on continuous delivery or about any other part of your solution set that you have with Broadcom. We're absolutely happy to help. So Lyle is coming up in August from the 27th to the 29th. And then for the first time, we're offering one in Plano, so you can come see me. I am down here in Plano from October 15th to the 17th. So again, great opportunity, completely technical. You can send the techiest of techies to our mainframe technical exchanges because our teams will just have a great time of it. So with that, Len, I'm going to look to you to see if there are any questions.
All right, thank you, Nicole. I don't see, oh, hold on, there are a few questions that have come in. Let me go ahead and go through these. Okay, how will continuous delivery be supported by Chorus Software Manager? Will the CSM process need to change?
So remember slide number 2, where there were some, where I said there will be some conversation around strategic items. We expect, we aim to do this, we're anticipating this. I'm going to invite Dawn to do a level set here on where we're at with CSM/MSM, and just, you know, be honest with everybody about where we're trending to and what we're trying to accomplish therein.
Okay. As far as in regards to continuous delivery, we do not expect any changes to MSM. As Nicole mentioned, any new features are going to be embedded into the CARS methodology. So if you're installing using CARS, the CARS will include the new features, but also the new features will display within MSM as just a regular PTF. Does that answer the question?
For now, we'll say yes, thank you. And if that person who asked that one wants to ask a follow-up, please. Oh, he just said that that's good. Thanks. The other question that is in the question box is, was CA Gen a product that is supported with continuous delivery?
Going back, I'm just trying to find the right slide. I did not recall seeing.
Yeah, I don't think it was on there.
It's not on here as of yet. So the team, they're actually here in Plano, will issue their proactive notification when they're ready to transition into continuous delivery.
All right, folks, that's it for the questions box. I do want to let you know.
Len, this is Steph. So there's a couple of questions that came in as a result of the emails that went out. Just want to let everybody know a couple of things here. Number one, there was a question on the list that was just shown. Where can we see this online? That was through the DocOps link that Nicole had provided. Also in the, I believe in the email, there was a hyperlink there. You will need to have a DocOps login. It's easy to register and then be able to log in. The other question that came in is there was a person that asked about, well, I don't have a CD drive in my laptop. How am I going to get the maintenance? So just to be clear here, CD is not compact disc. It is continuous delivery. Again, taking after the industry naming standard there. And then the last thing I just wanted to interject there for both Lyle, well, I'll just talk about Lyle, the mainframe tech exchange. The database management there is specific to sessions on DB2 database management in addition to security. Those are the three things I had over here.
All right, thanks, Steph. We actually do have a few more questions that have come in, so I'll go ahead and read those. Will new features be changed to enabled after a certain amount of time, maybe after next release, or will they always be manual to turn on?
That's a great question. So I'm going to talk out both sides of my face, but it's in the spirit of honesty. The expectation, if we put the features out and we gave a switch, we would expect people to leverage the switches going forward. When we cut over to a new release, that is a good point in time to enable all the best practices and make sure everybody's really clear on what we've enabled as the default as people as we cut a new release. There's absolutely that window. There's also a window where feature A gets shipped and then feature B kind of supersedes feature A, and it needs to be enabled as part of that. So when things are enabled, or if they get disabled, again, we will make very certain that the whole data is clear, that our documentation references the same, so that people are not caught by surprise.
Thank you, Nicole. Let's see, next question. If I'm about to upgrade DB2 tools from R19 to R20, which is IR and NCD, what should I do?
So for DB2 specifically, this is Nicole talking, I would jump to the latest, test it all, and then roll and deploy on the very latest on R20. Specifically, IBM for DB2 is on a continuous delivery model as well. I think they're up to, they call them function levels. I think they're up to function level 504, 505 do sometime maybe. Can't strike that last part, I'm just joking. Anyway, so they're on a continuous delivery model, and it depends on where you're at on version 12 of DB2. So if you're pretty darn current on version 12 of DB2, you want to be pretty darn current on our tools as well. They kind of go together. If you happen to still be running on version 11, you could go to a slightly earlier space on DB2 Tools 20. However, as I said, I would encourage you to review the maintenance and the hypers so that you're versed on what decision you're taking. I'm a big fan of applying hypers as soon as they're available. Hope that helps. Lena, are we okay on that one?
I think so, and if the person has a follow-up, I'll make sure that I read it out again. Excuse me. We do have one more question. GA1 is supported for how long, and then how long for GA2?
So we strive to leave 12 to 18 months for customers to do the upgrade. So let's see. GA -1, I'm sorry, you're running with a release. We issue the next release, which is continuous delivery. And then at some point, we're going to go to that third release. When we announce that third release, or we cut the first part of that third release, we most likely, on that same day, are going to issue the end of support for what is now GA -2. So you would have 12 to 18 months to move to the continuous delivery release or the GA -1 release, depending on what your requirements are. But that actually brings another great talking point, I think, or I feel a good conversation point, which is the continuous delivery releases and expectations therein. As we move to continuous delivery, that notion of cutting a big R waterfall release every year, 18 months, every 2 years, it goes away. We expect to stay on continuous delivery releases for quite some time. So things that would force a new release being cut, right? If there's a new hardware, something in the operating system, some architectural change that's incompatible, and we know that it's a forcing function to get us to a new release, that may get us to a new version of a continuous delivery release. Another way that we might get there is if product management does a big, like I mean big, huge, like we're always delivering value, always maintaining our products, that's not a question. But if there's some big, huge, massive thing that changes about a particular product, they may opt to take advantage of that from a market perspective and cut the new release. It would also make sense for customers that we cut the new release so they can see what goes together for their environment. So again, with continuous delivery, it will change the cadence of our releases. I'm absolutely confident in saying that. And again, just to bring it back to the notifications, this is why we want everybody subscribed to the notifications, because we're going to let you know, here's what we just handed to you. Here's what we just handed to you. Here's how you take advantage of it. Here's what the value is to you. And we need a path to be able to get those messages to you. And absolutely, it's the case that it's in the whole data, it's in the doc, but giving you a sweet little email every now and again that lets you know what we just provided is in everybody's best interest.
Thanks, Nicole. Next question is, I'm assuming instructions for how to activate disabled features will be included in release notes. Can you please confirm?
Yes. I don't think I said release notes explicitly, but full data documentation, release notes. I don't know that it'll be in the proactive notification proper, but we'll give you links off to it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great question.
All right, are there any other questions, folks? Hold on. Keep popping in. So if we are currently at R11.3 for CA7, if they get to R12.2 or 12.3, then will R11.3 be going to end of support? You need me to read those numbers again?
No, I caught 11.3 and then we jumped to 12.0. I'm not sure if we have a 12.1 out there right now on CA7. Yeah, so I think that there's some more to that one, right? Because between 11.3 and 12.0 is when we introduce Datacom. There is some migration work to be done when we cut there. I do not want to speak on behalf of the product manager for CA7, but I'm happy, Len, if the individual wants to give you or just IM me directly their email.
Sure.
To connect them with the product manager. I don't want to set that direction prematurely because there's a lot to that question. I know what I would do, but I'm not the one that's going to make that call.
Yeah. The next question is CSM still needed?
I'm going to look to Don again.
I guess I'm not sure what's meant by is CSM still needed. I mean, I know we have a lot of customers that depend on using CSM. So our plans right now is it is our go forward. We are going to continue supporting CSM, but we do have plans in the future to start using ZOSMF as our installer, and this is part of a vendor initiative where all vendors are going to be moving to a single installation for all ZOS products. But we haven't yet announced any dates or plans as to when we're going to start transitioning. So I hope that answered the question.
And are we okay on that one? Or, because that's a big topic, right? Like that's actually a huge deal for customers. Are we okay, or does that individual have another question, or does anybody else have one?
No, it looks like for that topic we're good. Next one, maintenance grids will still be kept up to date for all products to show supported and end of service dates. I guess that's a question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other questions, folks? Give everyone another minute to finish their typing. All right, I don't see anything else coming in, so I guess we can go ahead and wrap up. Quick reminder from me, Again, we are going to pop that survey up here in a second. There is a field in there where you can ask any questions that you might think of after the fact. You can also always contact me directly. It's len.thompson, lenn.thompson, thompson at broadcom.com. And if I can't answer the question for you, I'll be happy to contact Nicole, Don, Steph, or whoever else I need to. Nicole, thank you very much. Great job as always. And to those of you who gave up an hour of your time today, actually 45 minutes of your time today, we really appreciate you taking the time and joining us. And keep an eye out in the communities for more information about this topic and all other things topic. Broadcom, sorry. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.